Well, it all comes down to this. The final race of the season is upon us, and we will crown our champion tonight. It's going to be a long race. It's going to be a long, hard one for the drivers to work out who is going to be the champion, and there's still 3 drivers in contention. So let's find out who is going to be our champion for Season 8. It's been a short season, I should say. Compared to the long season that we had over the last couple of years, we've gone back down to a shorter 8-race season, and we're here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway tonight for the season finale by MABI, and that is of course sponsored by Peter Helmbro. Thanks to him, he is 4th in the championship, but just shy of having enough points to be in contention here tonight. It's myself, Cam Roger, Jeremy Scott alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast as we go racing for the final time this season. We started way back in September in Daytona before working our way through Chicagoland, Charlotte, Phoenix, the double header at Iowa, Pocono a couple of weeks ago, and now Las Vegas, and it is certainly going to be a tight one. Just 5 points separate your drivers at the top. The teammates for Polski Logistics is Ericsson and Broström, but just in the background as well is Jonas Gunnarsson, and all of these drivers are previous champions as well, with Alex winning in Season 3, Linus in Season 1, and Eunice in Season 5. So we will be having a double champion crowned, but just who will it be? There's 50 points up for grabs in the race, another 10 in the stage, a few bonus points here and there as well. So in theory, 66 points up for grabs. So it could all change very, very quickly indeed. But we do have the drop scores in effect, which is why Peter Helmbro is just slightly out of contention there. So the top 3, the main ones that we will be focusing on. We went to the shorter format this season, so no playoffs or anything like that, just 8 races to get your points, and therefore the drop scores taking into account your top 7 results. So a little bit different to what we had last season. The final race here tonight in the next gen car before next season. We will be starting Season 9 in January. We're moving back to the Xfinity car, I guess the O'Reilly's car, we'll have to start calling it now as we move into 2026. But yes, Jeremy, your first time coming into the booth this season, and what a time with 3 drivers in contention in the final race.
It's always fun to come into a final race of the season because so much to play for and so much to happen. You see Hagman coming across the line for his qualifying spot, and of course it's going to be interesting to see how this championship plays out. A couple drivers still in contention, and really it's going to be interesting also with the next gen car here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We know how well it races around here. It's a weathered track essentially. It's a tri-oval, 1.5 miles, so it'll make things just a little bit more interesting here going into this final event. And look at how bumpy this facility is.
Yeah, it sure is. It's had some great races across the last couple of seasons that we've had here on RaceSpotTV as well, of course, covering since 2023 this great league here at Bohlin Svenska iRacing, and we're now coming to Season 8 of this championship. It's been going on since the COVID times. It's changed around a little bit, but we still have the amazing core group of drivers, and especially Linus here, who we are on board with, going for that pole position, sadly down on the 3rd row as it stands, as the clock ticks to the end. It looks like he is going to have some work to do with Ayrton up there on the pole. Linus, of course, going for the championship, his 2nd in this championship in this community, but of course one of the main admins and runners of this championship. Let's see what the final grid is of the season. Is Ayrton and Joel Wallen on that front row, with Eric Lundberg and Yokoshu on the 2nd. Erling and Broström round out your top 6. So a few different drivers up there towards the front. That is what we like to see. Tony Uvenen, who's had a strong run this season, he's currently 6th place in the championship, but 7th on the road today. Håkan Schott is in 8th place, with Ericsson, well, both Ericssons rounding out the top 10. We have Dan Holmer and Tommy Auto in the top 12. Then there is Jonas Gunnarsson down in 13th. He's got a lot of work to do. Your winner from Season 5, Broström, is there in 14th place, with Helmbro, your sponsor for today's race. So big thanks to him as we come to the final race of the season. Forsberg, Marcus Hogman, and Kjellberg, your top 18. Then we have Kennedy, your winner from the first race of the season, Christian Gantz, Skoglund, and Lars Bulker, who had a great run last time out at Pocono, but couldn't end the race better than he would have wanted. He's the final driver on the grid. We have 153 laps of action, stage on lap 70, with a fuel window of about 55 to 60 laps. So we will be pitting before the stage, which means 4 sets of tyres. That means it's basically going to be a one stop to the stage, change tyres again at the stage, and then you'll have one final pit stop somewhere somewhere towards the end. So the cautions will, of course, dictate that quite a bit with just the 4 sets of tyres. So, Jeremy, the strategy in that way may be a bit less choice because there's sort of 3 defined locations to have your 3 sets of tyres, but you never know. If we get a long green flag run, drivers will be pushing those limits and trying to get as far as they can in the race.
I absolutely love green flag pit stops. Let's just full stop right there. So that's going to make the race a little bit more interesting. And like you said, it's a very fine window that you have to work with the amount of laps you have and where the stage break is as well. So I wouldn't expect too much deviation. But here's the thing, with this track in the car, we might see multiple groups come in. I don't think everybody's going to come in at once unless we get a caution flag at some point.
Absolutely. I'm just looking to last season. So it's Jesper Eriksson. He won the race last season. We only had 2 cautions last season as well in a race that was 167 laps, so slightly longer than what we've got today. So that is looking good. And he won in first place with 4 Alcantech cars following him in behind, rounding out the top 5. Of course, Alcantech only having Jonas Gunnarsson this season, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult. And Jesper Eriksson, your reigning champion, will be losing that championship name tonight, as he is not able to win it this season. That's going to be a little bit of a shame for him. In Las Vegas, we had a double header the season before that, with Aracingligan actually winning the second race that time around. So certainly some good omens there for the 24, who has been so fast, so consistent this season, but he's just got to do it one final time. Of course, we have bonus points for pole position, so that's 1 point already to his name for tonight. And then we've got the fastest lap to work at some point. Leading a lap he will get at the end of that first lap as well. But one thing we've seen in this series is a lot of cautions on the first lap. So now it's the final race of the season. Let's see if they can get a little bit further. It's the season finale by MABI, sponsored by Peter Helmbro. It's Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It is round 8 of the season. The Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan is going to get underway for one final time. The green flag is ready, and Aracingligan takes it from the pole, going for his second championship tonight. Gets into the restart zone, and we go racing for the final time of the season here at Las Vegas, and it's a solid start for most of everyone, but at the back of things, Marcus Hordman getting a bit of a bad run in the outside line, and the 24 is going to get the run down in towards the first corner, but it's on the outside line. Joel Bohlin trying to fight back.
Yeah, going a little high-low early near the back of the pack, but Arlidsson with a great advantage so far as Wallen and Lundberg side by side for that second spot. Although Lundberg's going to try and fall in line and try and see if the top 3 can walk away. So that gives Erling and Joe a little bit of an advantage through 3 and 4. But here comes the 34 going to the inside for third place.
That is what we want to see, side-by-side action in towards the first corner. It looks like it's going to be Broström trying to get involved there around the backside as well, but it's going to be Erling getting that spot. And she's going to have to so actually lose another place, because it is Broström in that red machine for Polski Logistics coming down the inside. He needs to make up some positions from his P6 in qualifying, but he's still got that inside line. Got Tony Uvernen on his outside as well. There's an outside chance of winning the Constructors' Championship for his team as well. He can maybe get all of the points here tonight. Let's see how that one goes. And looks like Joel Wallen's taking the lead as well. So Aracingligan back down to second at the end of lap 2.
And I think that that's a smart strategy right there. Get out there, get up, at least a lap or 2 led, but fall in line. Save your tires, save your equipment early on. We're watching this battle between Broström and a shot goes around the high, wide, and handsome line through 3 and 4. Going to get that, and he's going to look for 6th place with Ovenen there as Eriksson falls back all the way to 10th. As now we're starting to see a big pack come together. I'm surprised that it took this long for that to happen. So you've got a big pack coming through here. You got another one back there. I would say that's about the top 13, 14 that are in this lead pack here.
Certainly is. It's just a tiny bit of a breakaway. So unfortunately, they're not going to be involved with that top pack if it stays green for a little while. But we will see what the tyre wear is like. We're expecting maybe up to 2 seconds if we get a full long green flag. Joel Wallen's absolutely gone off at the front by a second. So he's pushing. He's not thinking about conserving at this point in the race. But it's quite a narrow track, actually. And the drivers are trying to find their space. Gunnarsson goes to the high line, currently in that P7, trying to chase down. Of course, he's already got past the Broström. That's one of his championship rivals, but he needs to get up towards Aracingligan, who's currently in second.
Look at that. Look that, yeah, you get the leader up front, and of course that's because of the battle there for second place. And Erling, as Gunnarsson looks at the inside for get into that top five. Slide just getting that top five, but still plenty of racing left to go. A lot of drivers kind of holding back, saving equipment, and you've got one of them going high. I think that's Brostrom, who's sitting there in ninth line.
Yeah, I certainly think it is. Let's see how this one works through turns 3 and 4. Everyone is sitting in a very nice, stable formation, but it looks like all to the wall. They're actually Tony Uvernen, but to the outside is going to be Jesper Eriksson, who's getting the run on Linus Brostrom. And Brostrom had to defend to the inside to get in towards the first corner. He's certainly not looking racy, but often he doesn't win races by being the absolute fastest on the track, but by positioning his car well, supposedly in the race. Hockenschott, Brostrom's old teammate, goes to the outside, gets the run off too, and puts that position on him as well. So it looks like all the drivers moving around quite a bit. Hockenschott goes up wide through 3 and 4. He's going to hold on that line. Brostrom once again will be keeping it calm at this point in the race, but it's nice to see we're getting a bit of a green flag run here at the start.
And of course, you know, track's still a little greased up from practice, so we'll see what that this new tire wear has to do on the Las Vegas Motor Speedway single file from second on back. You're watching Gunnarsson try and size up Arlidsson, but trying to hold off Lundberg. And Lundberg was really the biggest threat here, not too far away. You've got this battle for position back there between Ovinen and Schott. That's for 7th place, but Gunnarsson doing all he can to stay up front in that 3rd spot. Wallen's a 1.5 second advantage up to the lead right now, so not worried about him, but this battle for second on really heating up.
Sure is, and the drive's having a lovely battle here to start this final race of the season. Good to see Jesper Eriksson slowly making his way up. It's not been the season that he would have wanted, but still showing in some good performances, and obviously showing who is the boss before we have this little Christmas break and start season 9 in January. It's only going to be about 3 or 4 weeks before we get back racing there. We go 3 wide through turns number 1 and 2. The drive's starting to fan out. It's not staying single file much longer. They are starting to try and look for some ways through. Eriksson working his way up into 6th place already. Yokshu is the next driver that he's going to have to put in his mirrors, and he should have done that by the time we get to the exit 3 and 4. Now Rob Erling is that car ahead of him. We're seeing Linus Brostrom now drop outside of the top 10 as Dan Holmer in the 79 is going to come to his inside.
Couple drivers trying that Kyle Larson line early, and that's going to be interesting to see how their tires wear out here as the race wears on, to say the least. And everybody now getting a little less antsy. Has got Shu trying to go around the inside of Erling for that. I should say that's going to be the 79 Homer going around the inside there. He gets into the top 10, so that's a good position for him. But everybody now feeling out their cars and trying to see if they can open up that bigger gap between the first and the second groups. Right now, Cam, it's about a 2-second gap between 14th and 15th, so the pack's really starting to sort themselves out.
Yeah, and Joel Wallen's still completely gone off up towards the front. A 2.5 seconds. He really is pushing. I guess he's expecting some sort of caution. The thing is now, with the stage caution is going to be a lap 70, so we are within the fuel window now. So anything that happens now, they can box, fill up, and then get to the stage, which is very, very important when it comes to the fuel numbers today. And either way, they're going to have to pit before the stage. So I guess that's why he's pushing, because he feels like he's a little bit more consistent. However, you always want to make your pit stops as short as possible to try and jump some people in the queue. So saving fuel can be beneficial that way. But for now, he's got the pace, and he wants to be going forward. Talking about going forward, Dan Holmer gets another one. That's P9, gets ahead of Hockenschott. He's the black Sim Race Sweden car, just ahead of the white one there. Hockenschott, the 101 machine, just dropping down a position. And now it's a 71. His old team boss, Linus Brostrom, in behind, who's just chilling at this moment, I think, just in front of Rob Eriksson there, just waiting, biding his time, and trying to play the long game.
And that's the whole point. Try and get yourself to that, either the first caution or the first pit stop, as we're watching Brostrom try and size up the 101 of Schott to get back into that top 10. By the way, speaking of top 10, Jonas Gunnarsson, your highest gainer so far, up 10 spots. Jesper Eriksson and Lars Balke both up 6 spots. So, you know, while we're not seeing too much of movement, Cam, we are seeing a lot of drivers methodically making their way up to the front. But it's going to be tough to catch up to Wallen with a 1.1 second advantage already.
Yeah, they've caught Aracingligan in second place. He's caught a couple of tenths on the previous 2 laps, so it's just little bits here and there. But will Joe Bohlin run out of steam? He's not necessarily a driver who runs up towards the front all of the time. He's down in 15th place in the standings, some 94 points off for the Genty Racing driver. I mean, he has got just 10 stage points to his name and only 2 extra bonus points to his name over the course of the season. So, he's not always up to the front there. But today, the speed has come out here at Las Vegas. But remember, this is on a fixed setup as well. So everyone's driving the same. It's all about the driver in that car, and he's getting the best out of it for now. We're having a battle between Bohlin and Zhu. Bohlin has the inside line on the 84 machine. He's had such a strong season, always up there inside the top 10. And this would be another position for him. It would be for P7. By 34 Zhu, he doesn't always get the results that his speed requires, but once again, he's looking strong up there in the top 10.
Well, it's always a matter of putting your car in a place where you won't get in too much trouble. Holmer still trying to size up Zhu through turn 3. And Zhu running about the middle line, then decides to cut down into the bottom line against that white line. So, a little bit of a slide there by Bohlin. Nice save coming off of turn number 4 as the 84 only loses, 2-3 spots. But because he's out of line there, he will drop to the tail end of this pack.
And considering that, he's actually not done too badly. He's managed to stay inside the top 10. So he recovered that very, very well indeed. Oh, I couldn't quite see from that angle if there was a push or if that was just him being aggressive on the gas on the exit of 4. But he's lost another one. Hockenschott comes around the outside. So it's going to be P11 actually for Tony Bohlin. But what a little battle there. We've gone back to single file inside this top 14 or so inside this opening train. We've dropped the second half of the group, unfortunately. These top guys all staying close.
Yeah, I just had that look of being either or, so we'll see if we can get a replay for that. But a little bit racy at the back of this pack as well. Here's the replay, and it just looks like, just on the gas just a little too soon as that back end is.
Full caution.
Sometimes this next cars, we are under yellow for 1 car off. It's the 83 of Jonas Skoglund. But this track in the car, the back end likes to step out just a little bit coming off of 2 and 4.
He's all on his own. He goes a little bit, just slightly off the line there, and then comes really low. Couldn't save it, hits the wall. Unfortunately, misses the pit entry. So he's going to have to do a whole lap with that. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one, actually. It's quite a long sequence of events. It wasn't a big snap, but that brings out first caution of the day at the end of lap 19. We're on to lap 20 now, and you would assume that most drivers, if not all, are going to come down the pit road. It's a bit too long, I think, to stretch the fuel just with 1 caution. So I think they're going to have to commit, come down, get the new tyres, get the fuel. Then they'll be good to go to lap 70 at the stage. The issue is if we get caution after caution, then there'll be, it'll be the advantage a bit later if someone decides to stay out. But I think the safe option for now is going to be coming in.
It would be the safe option because now you can reverse engineer how you run your strategy, because now you don't need to necessarily worry about how long is. Wallen's the only one who decides not to come into the pits. That's interesting.
That is an interesting one. So 20 laps. There's already going to be some wear on those tyres. He is going to get swamped up. I think 50 laps is too far for him to hold on for stage points, but if we do get another caution later on, in another 20 or 30 laps, he'll then be able to get put on new tyres, and then he'll be coming through the field towards the end of the stage. So it does make some sense, but it all depends when the cautions come. And it looks like literally everyone else is going to come down pit road. So everyone is deciding. Actually, I say that. The 38 of Christian Gantz also did not come down. So as Bohlin and Christian Gantz, the 2 drivers who are going to stay out, they're going to be on the front row when we go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, that's a very interesting strategy, as Lars Balke will get an end of line penalty as well. Actually, Gantz and our front row. That's going to be mighty interesting to see how long it takes for the rest of the field that came in to swallow these 2 up, because we know how good fresh tires are here.
Yeah, I think it. Well, unfortunately, as ever, it always depends on the cautions, because if it stays green, they're just by the end of the stage. First of all, they're going to have to pit for fuel to get to the stage, but also you know, they're just going to be at the back of the field. But at that point, they would then put on the new tyres and probably be able to come through. But for Gantz, that does make sense because he's jumped up. How many places has he jumped up now? Things like 8 or so, no, maybe even more than that position. So he's jumped up. But for Bohlin, he was already up towards the front. So it doesn't really make 18 positions, sorry, for Gantz. So it doesn't really make much difference for Bohlin. So he probably should have, you know, there wasn't much to gain from that. But let's see how it goes. We go back to side by side. 1 lap to go before we go back to green flag. But I think this is advantage Ericsson as it stands.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll see if that does come into fruition, especially since your front row basically. Older tires, it's 22 lap tires compared to now essentially 1 lap tires on the rest of the field. And of course, also it matters on how good the jump happens with the lights out on the pace truck. We're just about ready to go green so far. I believe everybody's still racing, and no, Skoglund with a mechanical black. So he is in the pits to answer to that damage he incurred, which brought out our first yellow.
Absolutely. It's the season finale by MABI, and we are trying to crown our champion for Season 8 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. First caution of the day has come out. Skoglund brought it out and has left Bohlin and Gantz on the front row. Neither driver stopping. Everyone in behind has. What is the tyre difference going to be? That's what we're about to find out. The stage is all the way at lap 70. It's a long, long way for those guys to go, and surely they will need to stop for fuel. But we get underway in the 43. Takes us to the green flag. It was a half decent start, a little bit of wheel spin, so he didn't get the biggest jump in the world, but he leads us down in towards the first corner. Ericsson surely will swamp up Gantz on that inside line. He's going to be dropping back already. Let's see how quickly Ericsson can take the lead.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin there, so that could have hurt him. And here comes Arlitsson to the inside of Bohlin, heading into turn number 3, the ideal line. And Arlitsson, it's not official yet, but so far gets that nose out front. Off of turn number 4, Bohlin still holds the advantage, but for how long? Well, it's going to be another lap because Wallen's going to come across the line a couple of hundredths of a second ahead of Arlitsson. Arlitsson's just going to fall back in line, but try again down inside of turn number 1 and 2. And here comes Arlitsson, the 24. Of course, you got some more battles near the back of the pack. Battle for third heats up between Lundberg and Broström.
And Gantz has already dropped down to P9 from his front row start. Made that P10, so he's losing a lot of time, but Wallen's doing a great job out the front, really pushing. We've got Broström, he's jumped up into 3rd place. The strategy master once again working his way forward. We've got Gunnarsson on that inside line, and it's Lundberg on the outside for 4th and 5th position with 2x2 in towards the first corner. Broström's actually getting Ericsson for 2nd place. Ericsson not using the speed that he would have expected at the front, maybe just choosing to sit behind Wallen, but Wallen's still leading on these older tyres.
Well, I think Broström saw that and wanted a piece of Wallen, but Gunnarsson going to go to the inside as well. He now is going to go for 2nd place around 3 and 4. So this battle really heating up. It's really helping Wallen out because he's opened up a 0.2 of a second gap for the lead. But Broström takes the high line off the start-finish line and gets a position. We'll see how long that lasts between Gunnarsson and Broström. It's not going to last long because now Broström washing up off of turn number 2. Battle for the lead heats up with Gunnarsson side by side with Wallen.
This is a great run from Gunnarsson on this restart, getting up to the lead. Surely he's going to have enough to get through 3 and 4. Yes, he has the inside, so that's going to be a lead lap as well. So that's the extra bonus point coming his way. So Arisson's already got one. And now Gunnarsson, but Broström does not. Broström maybe touched the wall on the exit of 4 there as he went behind the building on the camera, because Holmer has now got past him. And that is not too good. Ericsson also hit the wall a little while ago. So this is, this is a little tough of a situation for Linus as it stands. But let's see how this race develops here. And let's see the replay. Is he going to have a tag from behind? Or was it just, oh no, maybe just a little bit of a wiggle. I thought he went up high into the wall, but no, it's just a little bit of wiggle, and it was enough for Holmer to get the momentum. Who's now got down the inside of Joel Wallen. That's going to be 2nd place, but Broström and Ericsson, the 2 Polski Logistics, they're going backwards on this restart.
Yeah, and of course, they also have to watch out for their penalty points. You get a drive-through at 17x and every 8x after that. And of course, a tap, it could be a 0x or it could be a 1x. It all depends on the severity of the tap. This battle here between Broström and Ericsson and Lundberg really heating up. I thought we were going to see Ericsson heavy into the wall. He's going to dive to the inside of Broström and take 5th place for now. So whatever's going on with Broström, it's not very good because he's already fallen off several places.
Yes, certainly. We'll have to hopefully slow this one down for Polski Logistics, slowing down the bleed in this restart. They are almost, odds on to win the Constructors' Championship. They've had such a good season, which actually is by average score in this championship. It's not by just the points, but it's average score. So even though they got 4 drivers as such, it can sort of go against them in some ways. But, the likes of Tony Uvinen, he's 2nd place in the Constructors. He's just on his own, doing very well. Joel Wallin is going backwards, and Uvinen, the driver just talking about, gets past him up into 3rd place, and now it's Jesper Eriksson to the outside. So Wallin's going to be going down to 5th position here, and is the next person behind will be Linus Broström if he can get that momentum going back in his favor.
I'll tell you what, with the older tires, Wallin not falling back as much as I thought he would. Of course, once again, we're starting to see 2 groups once apart. As trying to see, now it's top 10 in one group, with Gantz being the lead, and the other one, I think they might have been a little wall slap by Wallin. So tires going away, the handling is going to go away, of course, with the stock cars. Once those tires go away, it just falls off like a proverbial cliff. So at some point, Wallin's going to have to come in because he's going to be hanging on for dear life here shortly.
He's doing very well, though, considering the situation with not pitting and so many faster drivers around him. Where is Gantz going to? Gantz is still in P11, so he dropped out of the top 10 very quickly, but he's now still in that position. One driver who lost out a lot in that sequence as well was Jocko Schuh. He's gone down into 18th position. He's lost a lot, 14 places from his grid, and a lot from where he was batting inside the top 10 just before the stage. Here is Gantz to the outside. Forsberg in that orange machine goes to the inside, not enough to overtake. But Gantz, he's really formed a second battle pack here. We've really lost the pack now up ahead.
You don't want to lose the pack here on board with Kelsberg in 19th. Love these shots of their cockpit and how these drivers are faring. Not much wheel movement, which is great, especially this point in the stint. You don't want to have to move the wheel too much. Just get it around the course, and that way you're not fighting any sort of slippage there. So just goes to see how a little hard hitting to the wall by one of the cars, and thankfully does not bring out a yellow yet, but that was a wall slapper.
Yeah, that red car was the 372 of Lars Bulka, having a big moment there on the exit of 4. And sort of dropping him down, losing that momentum. A couple of positions lost. He's actually gone to the back of the pack now with that momentum lost as Bjorn Broström gets past him. Skoglund still down the pit lane, 13 laps. I don't think we'll be seeing too much of him in the way of the top 10 should we get him back out on the track later on in the race. There's way too many laps to get back. We got up towards the front. Gunnarsson leads by half a second. Dan Holmer is in 2nd place. We're halfway through this first and only stage of the race today. And Holmer, as I say, 2nd place. Uvinen in behind. Jesper Eriksson, the top 4, they've broken away as Joel Wallin and the likes of Linus Broström, actually, they cannot keep up with this top lot.
No, they really can't. It seems like whoever gets out in front, they get that nice clean air and get the nice lead. Holmer and Uvinen trying to hold off Eriksson as well. Eriksson's trying to higher line the 3rd groove up top, and he's able to catch up, but not too much, as Holmer and Uvinen still trying to see what they can do to catch up to Gunnarsson, but they don't want to lose him too much. But however, let's see what the lap times are this time by with Gunnarsson across the line. It is a 30.945 with a 9.7 and 31.044. So Gunnarsson already opening up a 1/10 of a second here and there, which is absolutely fantastic. Balky back in the pits.
Oh, yes, that is not ideal. Must have been a huge hit there on the right-hand side. Well, it was a huge hit, I should say, but it must have been a huge amount of damage that was caused from that one. Enough to come in. Drivers don't want to come pit lane, so if they do, then that is certainly a telling sign that they're having some struggles. We'll go a little bit further back. Jokshuen's in 14th place. Hockenschot's on his outside in that white Sim Race Sweden car, the 101 machine. Side by side we go in towards the first corner. Who is going to lift first? It looks like it's going to be Schott, goes really wide. Actually, he's going to get a bit of momentum on the exit on the back straight, but I think Jocke gained enough time there, and he's going to be able to hold on to that one. So P14 done and dusted. They're still behind Gans, who has not stopped yet, who's on a 38 lap stint. Car number 38, lap 38, still out there. We are expecting fuel about lap 60 or so, and so at some point, if we stay green, he's going to have to make a green flag stop.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's going to have to be a green flag stop here at some point, and that's really going to ruin any kind of race strategy, barring any cautions we may or may not have. But got to tip the cap to Bohlin for keeping it up there. As you see, Show with going to the inside for position. Ian Forsberg really tooth and nail. Of course, he also wants to knock off Gantz for that position. I didn't mean knock him into the wall, but yeah, those two leaning hard on each other, and this two-way battle turned into a three-way battle real quick.
Oof. Oh, almost contacting Forsberg because he came up off the apron as well. Somehow slid in the back of Jokke, but wasn't able to make anything happen. So Gantz goes to the outside. He's going to lose those two positions, but that was a sketchy moment for all of the drivers involved. And now Hockenschott is the driver in behind Gantz trying to make that move, but that was almost a massive accident. They've got a big gap up ahead, 1.5 seconds to Tommy Auto though, so they can't do too much more at this moment in time. Up towards the front though, Ericsson gets third place from Tony Uvenen, so that's an important move as Joel Bohlin re-overtakes Lundberg despite those older tyres. Bohlin is in that battle, but Lundberg to the outside of turn 2 should have the run, gets in front as well, and now Ericsson thinks about it down the inside in towards turn 3. Who has that inside line? Joel Bohlin going high, staying high, comes down a little bit to try and get the momentum onto the front stretch, but Ericsson should have this done by the time we get towards the first corner.
Which should make life a little bit more interesting for your early race leader, Bohlin, and he's not given up quite yet, although Arlidsson able to muscle around the inside, I should say. Now has the sights set on Broström, so still a lot to play for here as we're 42 laps into this 153-lap race. It's Gunnarsson with not as big of a lead as we saw Bohlin early on, but Bohlin now about ready to lose yet another spot, this time to Erling.
This is a wonderful battle that we've been seeing over the course of the race. All these guys going for it here in the season finale by MABI. Let's see how this one ends as we're getting Tommy Auto now just trying to squeeze inside the top 10. It's getting close because Robert Eriksson is there. We're 2 by 2 down this back straight. We've got Erling up ahead with Joel Bohlin to the outside. Joel Bohlin in that blue 43 car might be losing another place here. Yep, Robert Erling for MHE Racing is going to have the inside line as we get onto the front stretch. The 82 should have the move as we saw a little bit longer, but no, he didn't get the momentum. The outside line worked well for the 43 and was able to hold back onto that one. So this is a really good job from Bohlin. Definitely showing he's got the pace today, despite being on these older tyres. As a little bit further up, this is Broström and Lundberg going side by side down the back straight.
Of course, you know, it just goes to show you that the more you get out there and the more you know how the tire model handles, you can be able to handle this, especially when it comes to a fixed setup scenario. Alto tried to go around the inside and work his way up to 9th, and I don't think it's going to be too long, unfortunately, until Bohlin falls out of the top 10. But the fact it took him this long in this green flag stint is absolutely fantastic. It goes to show how good the car control that Joel Bohlin has in that number 43. Of course, taking a look at his lap times, he's only about a tenth or two off of the rest of the field, but still the handling through the corners must not feel very good today.
Yes, I don't think so. Is all getting a big slide up there from Forsberg. I think he kept it out of the barrier though, as we go on to lap 46, stage of lap 70, so still 20 and a bit laps to go before we get to that point. Remember, stage points are given out at that point, but we do go under caution. 10 points for the winner, 987654321 for the top 10 out there, and that could be a crucial 10 points for Gunnarsson. Third place in the standings, and he's 13 points back coming into this race. So of course, drop scores and everything will have to work out, but that's certainly be some important points for his championship hopes.
And that's the key right now. Do you race for the race or do you race for the title? It's kind of delicate balance. You see Arlidsson, Broström, and Gunnarsson all have, of course, Gunnarsson right now with that minus 13-point advantage going in, disadvantage, I should say, going into this race. Now trying to hold all the cards here. Wants to get that extra stage point bonus here shortly. So we'll see how much that comes into play. As they got a battle for position between Alto and Joe. So Joe actually coming into the inside. So we'll see how he does that through there. And now through the back, we're seeing a lot more jockeying, Cam, than we saw at the start of the race as Alto works his way up to 8th place over Erling.
Indeed, this is getting very close, by the way, in terms of points. I'm trying to do some quick maths as we go, and we are currently separated by 5 points between the top 3 after everything, including the drop scores and everything. So this is very close. Just a couple of positions either way between now and the end of the race could be a big factor as it stands. Jonas Gunnarsson potentially could be winning this championship by a couple of points, but let's see how this one goes. We're looking at Tommy Alto. He's in 8th position. Yokoshu in behind, and Alto actually looks like he's working his way forward quite nicely. He was outside of the top 10. He's got himself some gap now, some track position, and he's looking at Aracingligan up ahead. He's trying to get past Lundberg, who's going backwards a little bit. Broström got past him, has pulled away. Now the 24 is trying to do the same as we hit lap 50 of the race. The 24's got the inside line, but he's chopped off there by Lundberg. We go again in turns 1 and 2.
And that's all it takes sometimes is Lundberg trying to hold off Arlidsson for position. Still side by side down the back straightaway with Lundberg with that slight advantage. But that's going to give Arlidsson a chance to dive it in deep in turn number 3. And it's going to happen, but does. Lundberg muscles way around the outside. They're still battling. This is absolutely fantastic to see these two go tooth and nail at the line. It was just scant 0.02 of a second separating the two of them, but here comes Arlidsson going around the inside once again. So he'll stay into 6th place, and that's going to give Alto a chance to go up 1 as well as he takes a look to the inside.
This is great stuff between these guys, and we are looking at 1 point difference between Gunnarsson and Aracingligan. So these positions are crucial. That was a good move there for Aracingligan, and now we're trying to see if the hook and shot number 101, so Alto I should say, the 87 can work his way through up the inside, and it looks like it is job done. Lundberg on the outside line though will get the momentum unless the 87 can chop up. Yes, he can. That holds that one off, but it's now come down to Yokoshu and the 34, and this is just going backwards for Lundberg. Let's see this one in towards turn 3 and 4. Yeah, Yoka gets that one, so Lundberg goes back 3 places in the matter of a lap or 2.
That's going to happen. If you're not down to your preferred line, you will get swallowed up quickly. Shu with a nice little position. Of course, here comes Schott as well to try and get around Lundberg. So he might lose 4 positions here as Erling also coming into play in that number 82, trying to knock his way back into the top 10, trying to get around Schott. And, oh, that was a nice little slide job there to come off of turn number 4 to defend over Forsberg. So now we've got a 4-car battle for this 9th spot, as Shu has opened up a half-second advantage as he reels in Alto as well. So lots of great racing to play for here in the middle of the pack. As right now, look at how tight everything is. Forsberg doing his best to try and get around Erling to get closer to that top 10 position.
Yeah, this is amazing racing here, and we've had that one caution back at lap 19, but we stayed green since then, and it just shows you when you actually get these longer stints, the drivers have to figure out, think about their tyres a little bit. The racing is very, very good indeed. Lap 55, 15 laps to go of this stage. Gunnarsson still leading from Holmer and Eriksson, who'd be your podium of the stage as it stands, but the batting in behind. Tommy Alto is trying to work his way forward another position. He's thinking about Yokoshu, but not quite enough. P7 there as Yoka holds on and is doing very good because he's recovered well, actually. He was right down at the back of the pack after the pit stop during the caution. He's worked his way back through. The gaps are starting to open up now, so it's a bit harder to move forward and time and time again, but he's now following your championship leader of Aracingligan coming into this race, so he's got some good pace out there.
And Bohlin is into the pits to answer the call, so he fell all the way back to 20th spot after leading for a time. So the only driver who hasn't pitted yet is going to be Christian Gans, sitting back there in 18th. But man, look at this battle between Schott, Forsberg, and they've got us into Erling as well, as we're watching the 82 of Erling trying to hold off Ericsson. So lots of great battles here as this Ericsson Erling battle. Really, a little bit of a wall slap by Ericsson. Not something you want, and especially you want to try and hit square, but the way he hit it, that car was moving up and down.
Yeah, these guys are pushing the limits. We know how aggressive they've been, but in previous races, have been caution after caution with these incidents. These attacks turning into incidents, I should say. But today, it has not turned out that way. We've just seen the drivers pushing the limit and just about staying inside. As Schott just gets past Lundberg as well, so Lundberg holding on to the top 10. Remember, these top 10 get the stage points. So Lundberg, he wants to have that final one. He's got a bit of a gap to the orange car of Forsberg in the background. So hopefully, he can hold on to that one final point tonight. But we'll certainly find that out in 12 laps time, but it looks like he is slowing down quite a bit. He was up there in about 5th position or so earlier points since the restart, but now has dropped his way back. So Jeremy is certainly turning into, I think, a little bit of a driver's track today, the longer that these stints go on.
No, it really is, and it makes sense too, because as we mentioned, the tires are starting to fall off. Well, now you're starting to introduce a little bit more grip as you watch lap by lap. That track is just getting darker with all the drivers going across it, and even on that shot going off of turn number 2, you see how much more glow there is with the groove here. So no surprise here. We'll see if Forsberg and Erling and Ericsson can all get up there and try and get to Lundberg for that final stage point here in just a little bit. But yeah, the drivers really having to work themselves out, as Ericsson once again with a tap up against the wall, and he's got to really watch himself because he's probably getting close to that 17x for a pass through.
That would be quite something. I don't know if we've really seen that so far this season, someone gets to 17, but we haven't seen so many drivers in the wall, so we have to see if that one works out. We're on the back of Yokoshu now, 34 chasing down the 24, and what a run it has been in this in a stint for Yoko as he works his way forward. Alex Araton had the pole position, led the first lap, but since then has been looking in his mirrors this whole race so far. And he and his teammate Linus maybe not quite on the pace that they would have wanted, or they're saving something for later on. Look at the run though. The Yoki gets a big slide on the back of the 24 as well. Is not able to get on the power. We're on the outside here for the 34 of Yoko as he tries to hold it all the way around the outside. It looks like he's just got more grip. The tyres are the exact same, but maybe not, because he's got through, and that is going to be P6.
It's all a matter how you handle your tires here, especially right after you get that first green flag lap after the pit stops, as we see Shu going high once again, trying to hold off Arlidsson for that 6th spot. Of course, as we mentioned, the stage is coming up, so points will matter here. And this is giving an advantage to Alto and Schott as they can close in and try and maybe leapfrog them for some extra points, but everybody kind of staying calm. They have their eyes set on Broström, who's sitting in 5th place right now, but we are under yellow once again. A little bit of smoke. Who's in the wall? That is Gantz.
Gantz in the 38 machine, and he's he's up on the front row. And actually, had he just come down pit road, or was he just about to make it? Because of course he was on the properly old tires. He'd literally just been in pit lane, I believe. And is it coming out? Is it spinning up the tires coming out? Yes, it is. Oh, my word. So it's just like Joel Bohlin, they stayed out during that first caution. So he was on the old tires, had to make a green flag stop, and just spun up the rears as he tried to rejoin the track.
And of course, the drivers that's going to help is basically everybody in the field, and who's really smiling about this. So that's going to be Wallen with 7-lap fresh tires, so he will not have to pit. But Gunnarsson, Holmer on back. They may decide to come down, get some fresh rubber, because we are very close to the end of the stage as well.
The only thing is they're limited to the 4 sets of tires, so they're already on their 2nd set. They'll need to take another one at the stage, and then they'll have one final pit stop at the end. So their final 2 remaining tires are kind of stuck. So I think it may just be a fuel game if they want to come down to try and save some fuel, take some fuel now to save some time when it gets to the caution. But we'll have to see. We will have to see if anyone decides to do that. I think now, though, track position is key. They want those stage points, especially for those important drivers in the championship. But no, they are coming down. This is very interesting. Surely, oh, not everyone though. Uven and Back would stay out, but I cannot see them taking tyres. Unless they only took 2 tyres. There's a few drivers taking only 2 tyres in that first stop. That could be the only thing. But let's see if they want to do so, because of course they got the 4 set. But interesting, because they don't have many laps now to regain that. So Broström has stayed out, Jokashu stayed out, Uvenum, Robert Eriksson, Kjellberg, they're going to be your top couple of rows. Then let's see who wins the race off pit road, because that is going to be the important one in terms of this stage, in terms of the championship. We're looking out for Broström up there in P2, but then it's Gunnarsson and Auritsson that we care about when this all figures itself out.
Saw a couple cars up front, so possibly a little splash and dash for a couple of the drivers. I would imagine that everybody taking the opposite 2 tires. As trying to look up and down my sheet, Oviden, your leader, did not come down pit road. We mentioned Broström as well. Shu did not come down. So we'll get the timing sorted here, but just about set to go back to racing, and we'll only have like a handful of laps before the end of the stage. So a lot of your front runners already thinking about stage points here, trying to see if any of the championship runners. Broström did indeed not pit, so thinking points. He's the only one out of them who decided to not come down pit road. By the way, Lars Balke talking with us on the YouTube chat. Unfortunate end of the season there. On to the next one.
Absolutely. The season will certainly be starting pretty quickly, actually. So we have the season 9 in the Oval Series starting in Nashville on the 15th of January. So that is actually not too far away, just 4 weeks away. And also on the road course side of things, the GT3 series will start a week later on the 22nd of January. So just about a 4-week break, and then we'll go racing once again for the next season. So it does move forward very quickly. The fact that we've split up into 2 shorter seasons and 1 long one throughout the whole season. But lap 66, stage will be at lap 70 still. So we are going to get basically just a couple of laps sprint before we go back under the caution, but everyone wants to position themselves well. I don't know if this is going to work out. Gunnarsson is now down in P7. He had the lead. He could have stayed out to try and take the stage points, but now he's down in P7 and needs to regain those. He's given the track position to Linus Broström, and bearing in mind, we are so close on points in terms of the championship. Is literally a handful of points separating Broström, Auritsson and Gunnarsson, and it's a point per position. So this is going to be so close. It's going to be a 4-lap dash to the end of the stage, assuming we say green. We've got Broström in 2nd place, Gunnarsson 7th, Auritsson in 10th place. We've got a mixture of 2 and 4 tyres. The top 4 stayed out there. They didn't stop. Let's see how this one ends. As we get to the restart zone, Tony Uvinen will get us back to green flag racing. There's a huge crash there. The 71 of Broström on the old tyres crashes into Jokashu, and that could be big for his championship. He was looking to get those extra stage points, and now he's going to be dropping to the back of the line unless the caution came out, saved his bacon, he'll be able to go back to the front.
Now that we got to sort timing out, because I believe that this is going to be the end of the stage. Take a look at the replay here. So, just a little bit of the spin of the tires there by Broström, and that is not what you need, especially being that close to the championship leader. Was it a bump, or was it, I think it could have been a mixture of both, the bump and the spinning of the tires?
Let's see. No, I think that's just on his own.
Yeah, that was definitely on his own. Unfortunately, took some collateral with him, but that definitely was on his own. As we saw it on board, it definitely sounded like a wheel spin at that point. So, just a heartbreak.
Absolutely. This is an interesting one. But as this will end up being this stage caution, let's take a few messages from our partners and we'll be back to unravel all of this. welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the season finale by MABI here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series season number 8. We are in the championship decider. It is between Gunnarsson, Aracingligan and Linus Broström for the championship, but Linus Broström just caused this very caution. We go on to lap 70, and at the end of this, the stage points will be awarded, and as it stands, it looks like it is going to be Gunnarsson who is going to be getting second place, and Aracingligan in third, with Broström down at the back of the line. It is a very interesting turn of events in the grand scheme of things. So let's see how this one works out. It is going to open up the championship quite a lot as well in terms of the points, because it's going to be an 8-point loss for Linus in the standings. And of course, this changes things quite a lot in terms of how the stage is working, because now we had this stage. This is the stage caution, and we are going back green to the end of this race, as Linus has thankfully messaged just to confirm. So we are going to be going back green flag racing and ending the stage on lap 70 at the same time. And we're going to be seeing Jesper Eriksson. In the end, he stayed out to the front of this field. Gunnarsson, Aracingligan, Holmer, Schott, Auto, your top 3 rows, as we're going to be getting the season finale underway once more. Linus Broström has a lot of work to do to come back from this one. It's now really down to Gunnarsson and Aracingligan. They are on these top 2 rows. Jesper Eriksson, though, gets us underway. Green flag racing as we go towards the end of the season here in Las Vegas. It's a solid start from him. It's fresh tyres for everyone who pit at the caution just a few laps ago. We're side by side by the 2 championship contenders. It's going to be Gunnarsson on the outside, Aracingligan on the inside, with side by side down the back straight.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic center-lane battle as Arlington's going to fall back just a little bit into the clutches of Holmer in the 79 for 4th place, but everybody single file up until about 6th, 7th position. That's where you've got a battle between Erling and Tier. That's actually for 8th spot, as Tier gets a hold, gets around Erling, or I should say Erling around Tier. But good to see that Tier making his way up to the top 10 here, as playing some sort of pit strategy. You're on board with the number of 24 of Arlington, losing just a little bit of ground, but like we said, with the amount of tires that you need to finish this race with, wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some of the front runners decide to really save their equipment here if they've gone for 4 tires. But I just have a feeling that everybody's gone for 2 tires, both the previous 2 pit stops.
Yeah, I was trying to look through the numbers and whatnot, and obviously it changed quite a bit because I had to take some fuel and stuff, so it's always a little bit hard to see. However, I think everyone out there on the track is on 4 fresh tyres, which would make sense with it being the caution, but a lot of those drivers already took it at the caution we had just before the stage. If that is true, then they will still have 1 full set of tyres, and then those who took 2 earlier, they'll have a full set and an extra 2 for the outsides a little bit later on in the race. If and when we get to potential cautions later on, it's lap 74 of 153, half of the race still to go to work out this championship. Eriksson leads from Gunnarsson and Aracingligan. Holmer is in third. Schott is there in behind as well. As we focus on Kenneth Tier, we haven't spoken about him much this race, but he's now up into the top 10, your winner from race 1.
Yeah, Tier's looking pretty good so far, trying to hold on to stay in the top 10 and trying to chase down Erling, but he and Eriksson going side by side throughout most of this lap here as watching Joe Wall. And look at that, he's back into the bottom half of the top 20, but still trying to get back into that top 10. He decided to come in before that the second caution, I should say, as right now he's just trying to methodically work his way up. We know how good his car is up at the front, and now he's just got to try and work his way through as he's all over the back of Eriksson for position.
Yes, this is going to be a lot to work out, because I'm actually just reading Linus's message that what he meant was the stage ended when the caution came out, when he spun at the restart, which therefore working out the stage points for the drop scores and everything could be quite interesting. We'll have to work that one out and get the results as soon as we can at the end of this race to try and work out this championship. Well, Broström is there in 16th place. Now, he's still got the opportunity to win this race, and that will change things quite a lot. There he is in the red and white machine. If he can come back, win the race on the road, I think a lot of things aren't going to matter a bit later on. But it's never that easy. It's lap 77. Peter Helmbro is number 77. And he is the sponsor for today's race. A big thanks to him after having a strong season up there. 4th place in the championship coming in towards the race today. But it looks like everyone is keeping it fairly nice for now. But I guess, Jeremy, we're on newer tyres, so there's less sort of moving around of the car just yet. When we get 20-odd laps into the stint, that's when the tyre will kick in.
And here's what's interesting, too. Almost everybody's on the same strategy at this point, because you had drivers who pitted during that second caution and drivers who pitted during that third caution, and they were just really close together with the laps. So that's not a surprise here that we're going to be seeing this throughout this stint as Forsberg trying to close in on Shu. Now we go back to the battle for 10th place between Ericsson and Bohlin. Bohlin trying to go the inside. He's run about the fast lap times of the leaders. Now let's take a look at Broström's times too. He's run as fast as the leaders are, so watch out for him to try and climb through the pack. He's probably one of those ones that really wants a caution really badly, as Bohlin hit that nose up front coming off of turn number 2, but Ericsson able to open up that gap. They both try and go around the inside of tier, that number 49, and this 2-car battle for 10th was quickly going to turn into a 3-car battle for either 10th or 9th, as we see Shu trying to go around trying to get on the back, Ovinen on the back of Bohlin.
Yeah, these guys are now starting to have these battles as the stage progresses. We were calm for a couple of laps there as everything settled down after the initial restart, and now they're trying to work their way through these positions once more as we get into this second half of the race. Drivers are now thinking of what they're going to do to the end of the race. We do need another pit stop to get to the end, though. So that is the crucial thing. We still need another 10 laps or so to make it even on fuel to get to that point. But then that would still be a full stint to the end where the tyres will be screaming by the end of it. So they'll try and go further than those 10 laps, and they'll just keep going until they can't no more. We're back to the front, yes, but Ericsson leads the way. Gunnarsson in behind. Arvidsson there in that 3rd position, but not able to do too much as it stands. He's pulling away from Holmwood just a little bit behind, actually, but Lundberg is continuing his strong race. I say that, though. Now, Håkansson is looking up the inside. That'll be for 5th position if the 101 machine can do so on the inside, but not quite enough. They go side by side down the back straight.
Yeah, getting up to the car is one thing. Getting around them is absolutely different. That's one thing that's fixed up that I really like is you can run whichever line you can if you have, if you're able to get through there. As Lundberg, once again, still holding off shot for that 5th position. And more battles near the back. But here's what's interesting too, Cam. We're not seeing that big separation between the two groups like we saw earlier, as everybody just one single file line, with the exception of Broström and Gantz working their way around the back straightaway. Here comes Broström to the inside of Hagman for 15th. So the driver who was in contention for a championship position, trying his best to stay out of trouble, keep that nose clean, which we both know is very difficult when you're running back in this ultra dirty air.
And the 34 of Yokushu there, continuing his sort of aggressive driving, moving over the road. We've seen that cause some problems in the past, so hopefully that doesn't do so in the future as well. And that is why we love watching him. He was able to make his way up towards the front in that previous stint from a similar position, so I'm sure he's going to do the same over the course of the next 50-odd laps. And there's another position up ahead of him is Forsberg. If he can get the run, he's actually going to go for a push instead on that Ford Mustang just in front of him. Not enough to make a move just yet in towards the first corner, as Linus Broström is sitting in behind, waiting for an opportunity. As Ovinen is trying to work his way inside the top 10 a little bit further up. It looks like he's going to be able to do that on the inside of Robert Erling in towards the final couple of corners. There's Joel Wall in the 43. He's been up and down and all over the place this race so far with interesting strategies, and he himself is now batting back to the top 10.
Well, Shu, he's just all over this racetrack right now, but then again, able to get up to that 13th spot as we're watching. Oh, look at Forsberg trying to muscle his way around Shu for position. I thought there was a little bit of a slight tap saying, you know what, you did it to me, I'm going to do it right back to you. And that's just the nature of stock car racing, as Bohlin trying to get around Erling for that 11th spot. But man, this is absolutely fantastic battle for that 13th between Shu and Forsberg. Forsberg now taking the high line as he tries to hold off all comers behind him. You're on board with Broström right now, as he is just an interested spectator to this Hagman-Forsberg battle.
There's a lot of cars directly in front of him, though. The gaps haven't opened up too much, so he does have the opportunity to get some of the positions one by one. And Marcus Hogman to the inside. This could be an opportunity, because the run that you get through 3 and 4 on the outside line is actually very good. He's got past the 12 there. So there goes the 71. That's another position. That's P15. That's the first time pretty much since the restart that he's actually made a position. He's got the 2 teammates, MHE Racing, got the blue and the luminous green of Peter Helmbro, the 2 teammates in behind, but looks like Broström is not thinking about them anymore, as he's basically making his sights set on Dante Forsberg, the car ahead, in towards 3 and 4 for another time of asking, but not quite enough. And it's a shame actually for Polski Logistics. I just realised that their driver, Oliver Bohlin, is not here today. He's actually injured, so they're not able to have the showing that they would have wanted, unfortunately. I guess Araton is up there in 3rd place, but Bohlin not there. And Kenneth Tier down in 8th position as well. They'll be wanting to have a strong race to round out this Constructors' Championship that they are going for, though that is still looking good with their points position as it stands.
Yeah, I think I read what average of 16th place at Alexander and Linus have to make up, so that's not going to be too hard right now. Knock on wood that everything stays the way it is. As I tell you what, the 71 looking nice and racy around Forsberg. That is Broström and Wallen. Although he tried to get in the top 10, he's falling back just a little bit. Hopefully he didn't overcook those tires, but still this battle for position between Broström and Forsberg for 14th. Really eating up. Oh, that was close right there as Forsberg chops the nose off of Helmbro, and Helmbro's going to go up 1 position. That could have been disaster going into 3.
Cat-like reactions from the 77, manages to keep his nose clean and get to the inside. But talking of the inside, is actually the outside there for Broström as he tries to get through, but is in the background actually is Helmbro, who keeps himself down the inside in towards turns 1 and 2. Couple of battles all going on at the same time. Helmbro should have to run down this back straight, but not quite enough, as it's actually going to be Broström now just up ahead of picture, getting through in towards turn 3 and 4. The outside line is going to be for P13 if he can keep it stuck around the outside. He's going to have Robert Erling just up ahead of him now as he tries to get the run in towards turns number 1 and 2. The issue for him is Joel Wallen now is coming back at him in towards turn 1, but not quite enough to have an easy move. Side by side they go in towards turn number 2 now, and the outside line should have it stuck, but once again you have to hold on into 3.
And the problem is now that Shu is the head train of the second group. That's not something that Broström wanted to see. So now he's got to try and work his way around Erling and Shu to try and see if he can get ahead of Shu and get some more open air to close in on that lead pack, because that's exactly where he wants to be. But then again, we still have a lot of racing left, so anything can happen. Look at that defensive line that Erling took coming into 1 and 2. He's been watching Broström try the high line the whole time, and Erling decided to try it too. Well, that was actually beneficial for him, as well as Wallen, as Wallen closed in there for position and got a battle behind them between Helmbro and Forsberg. Once again, Helmberg with the down low line. Helmbro, I should say, as Forsberg goes high, and this is absolutely fantastic between the two of them. One has to wonder if Helmbro either forgot about what happened or still pretty upset after almost getting his nose chopped off.
Wow, what an interesting battle we're getting here in Las Vegas, producing some amazing racing for the final round of the season. What a choice to put this. I'm sure people still won't be wanting Homestead, but this is doing a great job to round out this season. We get some battles up ahead as Lundberg and Holmer, they battle, but this is important as well. The positions a bit further down. Let's see the end of this battle though, because Holmer's got ahead of Lundberg. It's the swapper on for Lundberg, who re-goes down the inside in towards 3. The 18 is having such a good run. compared to some previous races this season. He's looking good. Holmer to the outside. That is P4. He's trying to chase down Araton, who's still looking strong. There's no breakaway at the front. All these drivers in the top 6 are within 2 seconds of Jesper Eriksson. They're keeping him in check.
And that's how the battle is. Forsberg spins. We will probably go under yellow, and there it is. That is the yellow that some of these drivers needed, including Broström, who sits in 12th. Not sure if that was individual or if he got help. My guess is he got help, especially in turn 4. Yeah, it just goes over, almost goes around the nose there of Helmbro, and that battle was just fixing to get bent each and every lap.
Big decision now. If you only have 1 set of tyres left, do you pit now? We're going to have enough fuel to get to the end. Do you pit now, or do you wait for another caution? We're on a 32-lap stint on these tyres, so it could, in theory, go a little bit longer. The issue is, if you go back green and it stays green, they then got to make a green flag pit stop. Oh, that's a tough choice for those today. The logical, simple choice is pit now, get your fresh tyres, and then you're set to the end. But the problem is, if you get a caution in the last 10, 20 laps, you don't have a new set of tyres. You're going to have to be stuck out there on old tyres. And they're going to be very used by the end of, 55 laps. So this is a difficult choice for those out there, and it could be game-changing depending if we stay green to the end or if we get a late caution.
And I gamble. I would go in, juke everybody out, but I'd do a splash and dash. See how long you can, just get some more fuel in there and anticipate another caution. I mean, yes, we have been running clean and green most of the race, and indeed, that's what we start to see some of the drivers do. We'll see if they decide to go in for tires or not, but yeah, I just go in, top off with fuel, and come back out.
Interesting. So we got a few drivers coming down pit lane. We got Eriksson, Gunnarsson, Auritsson, Lundberg. We got Kenneth Tier, Uvenen, Eriksson. So actually, basically the whole second half has stayed out. But drivers to the front, we've got Holmer, Håkan Schott. Is that it in the end? I thought there's more drivers, you said. It was just Holmer and Håkan Schott at the front. And yeah, very short stops. So it's going to be a maximum... Oh yeah, some drivers not even having 7 seconds. So yeah, I think there's a lot going on here in terms of just taking a bit of a splash. We'll have to see the exact times because the timing goes all over the place when everyone comes down pit lane. So much information being put into it. We'll see what the exact pit stop times. There's a lot of 14-second stops out there, which is 4 tyres. Are there any 7 seconds? Uvenen, Auto, Jokashu, Jesper Eriksson only 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So Jesper has not taken tyres.
Yeah, so there's 1, 2, I at least see 4 drivers who have 6, 7 second times. Obviously, the leader of that pack is Eriksson with a 5.0. Then you got 7.9 out of Ovenen, 8.1 out of Alto, 7.5 out of Shu. So a couple drivers taking my strategy here, and we'll see what happens. They're banking on another yellow.
Yeah, they certainly are. This is interesting because, as I say, for those... Okay, he has fuel to the end, to be fair, but he doesn't have the tyres. It just depends when that caution comes out. So Eriksson is going to be looking good if we get that caution. But the issue is for Holmer and Schott, they have to stop to get to the end of this race on fuel. Have to stop. So if it stays green a long way, then they are going to be, they're going to be screaming with those tyres. They're going to be eaten up at the start here. 34 laps versus brand new tyres. They're going to be absolutely eaten up, but it just depends when we get another caution because they still have that new tyre ticket in their sleeve. If it stays, and it ends up to be a caution in 30 laps time, which is bang on when they would pit anyway, then they're going to be quids in because they're going to be at the back of the pack, but on 30 lap fresher tyres and able to chop through. So once again, Jeremy, these kind of races, it changes all the time. You cannot predict your strategy in these races with cautions.
No, and these race engineers, really, who do pit stop races, period, they earn their money. Hey, Broström just came out of the pits as well, so he'll be tailing Charlie. Everybody on track's on the lead lap because Gantz decided to stay out, and he got his lap back.
Certainly did. So the season finale by MABI has been a very interesting one. We're going to come on to lap 100, approximately 2/3 of the race done. And we are looking at Alex Aronson winning the title as it stands. Gunnarsson needs to get a few drivers in between those two and ideally winning the race to get the extra 5 bonus points that come with that. Dan Holm is going to get us underway as Season 8 comes to an end, and he's got 2 of his teammates alongside him. He's got Shot on the outside, he's got Ericsson pushing him in behind, and that is a solid start there from the 79, who, just to reiterate you, is now 35 laps on those tyres, and everyone in behind basically is on fresher tyres. They're going to be coming for him at this restart.
Well, remember, Ericsson with a splash and dash, so he's on older tires as well. Jonas Gunnarsson coming up around the pack. His shots falling back into 4th place so far. Now into 5th as Lundberg comes around, so it's only a matter of when, not if, as Gunnarsson now takes the lead. So it didn't take very long, maybe a lap, for the fresh tires to really come into play, but still side by side for 2nd place between Holmer and Ericsson. Lots of passing as well as shoes falling off the back as well.
Yeah, Ericsson stays high, I think, just to try and keep out of trouble, as Lundberg has to be careful not to come up too high. They stay side by side, down in towards turn 3 and 4. I think Ericsson is just doing the best that he can to try and hold on with the tyre situation that he's got, but he has the fuel to the end, so just keep as much track position as you can. But look how many drivers are coming in behind. There's a lot of positions that could be potentially lost here. Look at Linus Broström as well, by the way. He's jumped up to 7th position. He's coming back in this race, despite being at the back of the pack for a while. He's doing such a good job to jump up towards the front. He did take a full pit stop last time as well, so he's good on tyres.
And that's the question, is who has 4, who has 2? Looks like a lot of the field probably out of tires. So some of the ones that decided to go for a splash and dash or stay out, they've got one more set in the bag as Holmer falls back to 3rd. I'll tell you what, he's really holding on to that position as Ericsson and Ulrichsen, they both are going for a great battle here for 4th place. Ulrichsen has it for now as Ericsson's falling back just a little bit. Of course, it's not, oh my goodness, the tires are falling off. That's just because everybody here in this clump we're watching is just nice and tight for position. So Alto falling back as well. It's just a matter of who pitted, who didn't, who decided to take fuel. That's why the racing here is so close from 3rd on back.
And Holmer just holding up a couple of drivers here, naturally by his track position, has allowed Gunnarsson at the front to get away. Aronson has now got through. We have Linus Broström to the outside. Hopefully Holmer doesn't slide up into him. He does not so. So the 71 is back in this. He's back in this championship hunt. And all those issues a little bit earlier don't really matter because the top 3 in the championship are on the top 4 on the road. We're getting Robert Ericsson going around the outside as well. Into the wall goes a 37, has a big wiggle on. He's got a driver to the inside, a driver to the outside, and Jesper Ericsson is going backwards on his older tyres.
A couple groups of 3 wide action. You don't want to go 4 wide here. The track's wide enough for 3 wide. A little bit of a bump there. Oh, this is absolutely phenomenal with 2 groups of 3 wide. A lot of side-by-side action from Joel Wallen on back. Yeah, he's made his way up to the front. A great pit stop out of the 43. So Wallen, Schott, Ovinen sitting back there. You see now another chance at 3 wide between Schott, Ovinen, and Ericsson as they come across the start-finish line. Once again, look at this. This is fantastic racing off the restart.
This is absolute chaos, to be honest. We're almost 4 wide as Forsberg thinks about it. Ovinen comes up a little bit high. Needs to be careful of Ericsson on the outside, going slow. And now it's actually Kenneth Tier in the 49 machine coming down the inside of a 3 wide situation. Forsberg, the orange car, is getting involved on the outside. Ericsson somehow on these older tyres holding on to it. Gets a little bit loose there. Oh, bit massively loose. He makes contact with Kenneth Tier on the inside line, but somehow saves it up.
Absolutely fantastic. And yet Forsberg, after cautioning that last caution, his car looks like it's handling quite nicely. Thought with the nose into the wall that it might have been affected by speed, and it really isn't. He's going to try and go high, wide, and handsome around Ovinen and get into that top 10 spot. But does Ovinen try and dive deep in the turn 3? He's trying to hang with Forsberg. But I'll say this. I think that the hit into the wall has done more good than harm for Forsberg, as now he sets his sights on Schott. Oh, I think Ovinen with a little slap into the wall as well.
Wow, these guys just keep on going at it. They know it's final time of the season to get those points. and they are going absolutely for it. Someone has a bit of a wiggle onto the inside there, manages to gather that one up nicely, but certainly not easy. That was Yokushu in the 34 machine, as Marcus Hogman gets Bohlin for P7 as well. So these drivers, they're up and down all over the place. Linus Broström is trying to now get his teammate. Remember, they might be teammates, but they're going for a championship, and Linus is going to want to win this and become a double champion himself as much as anyone else. He now gets up into third position, and this is so important for his race, because this is points gained. It's 1 point per position, but therefore if you overtake your rival, you actually gain 2 points on him. But as it stands, though, Linus, because he lost out on all those stage points, he really needs Gunnarsson and Arason to drop back a little bit. As it stands, he's 10 points behind Arason, so he needs to get those 10 drivers in between him and his teammates. So that is going to be very difficult, as he's only got 2 positions in front of him.
Of course, a lot can happen. He has to get up to Gunnarsson as well, who is your leader, trying to hold off Lundberg, but Broström's knocking on the door there for that position. He has second, basically separates first and second and third. And look at this, Ericsson really coming in nicely as well. He's up to fifth, one of the higher spots that we have seen him so far this race. So pit strategy really has worked out for the 35. Took a 4-tire stop last time out, but here's the problem. Like we said, these tires are going to fall off here in about 20 or 30 laps, and that's when we get to see the drivers really handle themselves. And yeah, everybody, I think the drivers to watch for will be Ovinen and Shu, especially if we have to take a yellow, as Forsberg once again catches up to Helmbro. You definitely want to watch out. That might be a caution brewing between the two of them, because Forsberg not too happy with Helmbro and how he raced him there, leading to that last yellow.
Yes, the driver, they can get a little bit frisky out there, that is for sure. As Kenneth Tears on the inside of a 3-wide situation, Uven has got out of that one, but it is, I think, Tommy Alto, Hockenschott, I should say, the driver on that outside line. He gets the run, he gets in front of Kenneth Tear in towards turn 3, but not able to do so. It's actually the 162, that's Kjellberg. There's so many sim race cars out there on the track, but it's Kjellberg who's managed to get in front of Kenneth Tear. He was the one involved in the 3-wide situation, but Tony Uvinen has dropped back out of that one for now. We have a 5-car breakaway at the front. Marcus Hogman is a couple of seconds back in 6th position. So that is really the situation, but as I say, the top 3 of the championship, a top 4 on the road. So those are the important points that we're looking out for. Jesper Eriksson has dropped down to 18th place, but we are waiting for him to get some fresher tyres later in the race, potentially. Though if it stays green like this, he's just not coming any higher than he is now.
I'd watch this battle between Helmbro and Bohlin, and I'll tell you what, Helmbro really has come out of his own throughout the race, now into the top 10 solidly as he gets around your earlier race leader. So that sets up for Holmer as well for that 7th spot. Is it a little bit of aggression? Is it a little bit of the car coming to him? I think it's more the latter than it is the former, but still, this is a great battle here as Bohlin working his way up through the field as well. Here comes Helmbro looking to the inside of Holmer for that 7th position. Gets it for now, a little bit of a rub. Rubber's racing here in stock cars, and Helmbro sets his sights now on Hagman, so already opening up a little bit of a gap, but still you got 2 seconds, so you've got to catch up to that 6th place car. It's been weird, Cam, to see that now the lead group is only 5 cars deep.
Yeah, it's been a lot bigger today, but I guess it was really Dan Holmer as he went back down the order. There was a couple of laps where he just got stuck a little bit, and it just created a gap to the cars ahead. And to be honest, for Marcus Hogman, it's going to be so difficult for him to overcome those 2 seconds gap, or I rephrase that, it's going to be impossible for him to overcome those 2 seconds gap unless anything major happens with these drivers up ahead. We come back to the battle for the 2nd position, because that is there's a half a second gap to Gunnarsson, but then it's Lundberg in this 2nd place. Broström is coming very strong, and now he was looking a bit slow, a bit conservative in the first green flag run of this race before we got to lap 20 in the first caution. But now, since then, he had that incident on the restart, and he's having to be aggressive. He's having to come back from that because he knows he basically needs to win this race to have any sort of opportunity at winning this championship. Currently, if Araton stays in the same place, winning the race wouldn't quite be enough for Linus, although he would get also another point for leading the lap in that case of winning the race as well. So it's getting close, but he needs Ericson to drop outside of this top 5 really.
Yeah, you can't really bank on the fastest point either, because provisionally, by doing my math, it looks like that would go to Jesper Eriksson with a 29.7. So 29.7 is the fastest that he needs to get to beat. Now we're starting to get into this time where the tires, they're set to where they are. So Broström can't really worry about the fastest lap at this point, as he still looks to the inside of Lundberg for that second spot. He gets it for now, sets his sights on Gunnarsson. He feels like the championship is still within grasp. Got to get Arlidsson away from him. Of course, you don't want to really hurt your teammate too much, because that just looks bad on the team standings. Arlidsson goes to the inside, but outside, I should say. Well, Lundberg, he's going to try and get that spot back for third.
Yeah, Lundberg is looking very, very racy today, but not quite enough. He's going to have a little bit of slide there as well. So that is going to let the 71 hold on to second place, but the 24 is certainly coming, and coming very fast indeed as it stands. We work our way through turns 1 and 2. It's going to be the high line for the 18, the low line for the 24. Not enough for Ericsson to get the run just yet, but maybe enough in a lap. But no, the 25 is a little bit of a wiggle on there, not able to do so. And this is such a good job here from Erik Lundberg, who has not really been so much involved in any of the top positions, but he's having a wiggle on once again and allowing the 24 to come down the inside. Lundberg, by the way, he's 27th. Yes, that's right, 27th in the standings. So he's fighting for a podium today, but he's lost out that position as Ericsson goes through.
Kjellberg with a black flag, so that's our first incident point, I believe, that we see as Kjellberg's going to come down for a pass-through penalty. Again, 17X, and then every 8X after that cops you a visit to pit road, and you can't see your team. You just have to go right by them, wave, and hope that they're not eating any ice cream either. Lundberg falls back to 4th. Eriksson now, Robert Eriksson, tries to get up into that 4th spot as well, so one has to wonder if Lundberg is starting to lose the handling on that number 18, but this is the battle we're watching also between Broström and Arlidsson. Not only is that a battle for position, that's a battle for championship bragging rights here as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Broström has a little bit stronger car than Arlidsson, but Arlidsson just really, that car's starting to come alive here on these longer runs.
So as it stands, 7 points between Alex Eriksson and Jonas Gunnarsson in the standings. But if Gunnarsson stays this way, he may get an extra couple of points for most laps led in the race, but we won't really know that until we get to the end. So those 2 points, it's 2 points for the driver with the most laps led. That could be a very interesting 2 points depending on how it finishes. We have 30 laps remaining of the season. The top 3 in the standings, top 3 on the road, and this season finale by MABI is certainly being very, very exciting. Gunnarsson is leading, he's looking strong, he's going for his second championship like the 2 in behind, and he's got this race under control right now.
And that's all he needs to do. Just look out front. Don't look at what's behind you, because they're all racing each other for that second spot as Arlidsson once again looks to the inside. So got the interested spectator and Robert Eriksson. The last thing that Gunnarsson wants to see is that yellow flag. So he really wants to make sure that he is sitting there and basically trying his best to lead the race and get away from everybody else, because once Broström and Arlidsson leave each other, it's going to be a chase to see who's going to get up to your leader early on. Broström, Arlidsson still battling for second place. We saw Arlidsson try and look to the outside. Now Broström's going to make him go to the inside if he wants to pass.
Oh, this is really great racing. So close, and the drivers are on the limit. They're wiggling around a bit on the exit at 2 and 4 on occasions as well. It's not easy for them to get back on that gas, and that is just allowing Gunnarsson to hold this half-second gap as he has done for basically this whole stint so far. We work our way out of 2. Everyone is calm for now, but it's also good for Robert Eriksson, who we haven't mentioned so much, but he's there in 5th place. He's looking pretty and staying very nicely indeed on the back of this little battle for now, but not able to do too much. He's 19th in the standings, Eriksson 27th, and they're up there with the top 3 battling for the championship in this top 5 breakaway as Marcus Augerman is dropped off by 3 seconds now.
Man, this battle for position here is absolutely fantastic. And of course, Gunnarsson cannot shake these cars behind him. He's still stuck at about 0.6 of a second ahead of Broström, Arlidsson, Lundberg, and Ericsson. Now Lundberg starts to fall back just a little bit into the clutches of Robert Ericsson in the 35. So that gives the 71 and the 24 a chance to really race each other here for position. 128 laps are being run right now as we've got 127 side by sides. Arlidsson goes down low. Broström loses just a little bit of ground. Arlidsson has a nose out front. Let's see if that stays that way through 3 and 4, but still side by side for third. That gives Lundberg a chance to close in, and Broström's going to tuck back in line. So we'll see if Arlidsson can now catch up to the leader, Gunnarsson, as they now hook up nose to tail.
Wow, this is a big moment in the race, potentially. They're pushing each other to the limit. They're burning out their tyres by doing it as well. Ericsson gets back through to second place, but it's not really going to matter too much in terms of the championship positions, because either position is enough for him to win the championship. But he doesn't want to have the pressure of Lundberg and Ericsson right behind him. He wants to have that buffer of a car in between them, and that currently is the 71 of Broström. As you come out towards the line, it's going to be 33 laps to go, and car 33 is leading this race, and he's currently going to fall short of the championship by 8 points. And to be honest, he can't do any more. All of the points have been scored, apart from fastest lap, most laps led, and then he's of course winning the race. Fastest lap is going to be very difficult right now, as we've been mentioning, so he's just got to stay out, hopefully get the most laps led if he stays to the end of the race, but then he would still be unfortunately 6 points. So he needs Ericsson to drop back basically to P8 or so for him to win this championship.
Ulmer and Shaw come into the pits. Of course, 65 laps will run on that last stint of tires for them. So that looks like that is about to be the limit. So if we stay green, it'll be interesting to see the tires, how well these drivers will handle those tires falling off, because when they fall off, it's going to be absolutely wild. And this is probably the best view that Ericsson's had all day in that number 35 Team Superior stock car, working his way around the start-finish line once again. He tries to reel in Lundberg, but he is still trying to save his equipment. Once Arlidsson also got around his teammate Broström, he left him like yesterday's track, heading off of turn number 2. Let's see if Gunnarsson has anything to hold off Arlidsson, as Arlidsson about 1/10 of a second faster than Gunnarsson. So if it holds, we might actually have a battle for the lead here in about 5 laps.
And this is going to be the longest green flag run of the day that we're getting into. So it's a bit of unknown territory now in terms of the tyres. We had about 30 odd laps on the tyres so far. So now that we're going to be getting towards 40 and over that marker, it's going to be getting to about 55 by the end of this race. Hopefully the drivers have done some longer stints in practice and know roughly what the tyre is going to feel like, because especially on the rear end, there could be some big mistakes, especially on the exit of 4 coming our way before the end of this race, and that could affect this championship quite a bit. It's one of those things now, if any of these top 3 have a big accident, then they're going to be not winning this championship. So that is a big amount of pressure on their shoulders. As we said before, all 3 of these guys, they're already champions in their own right, but they're each of them going for their 2nd championship, and that is going to be a big feat in something in a community like this, where they're so focused on having such a good time and being competitive. But at the end of the day, they all want to win.
Yeah, those right rears might be the first to go here, as you see how much traffic have around the corners, and it's going to be interesting to see how these tires fall off and how the drivers will handle it. Lundberg closing in on Broström, and of course that also closes up Ericsson as well. Trying to see if anybody else is coming in or out of the pits as well. Nobody else yet, so your top 15 all deciding to stay out, but it's going to be a matter of if anybody pits and when they do, as Gunnarsson still holding off to that half-second advantage between he and Arlidsson in the 3-car battle for 3rd place. Still nice and tight. It's just a matter of strategy. Everybody playing 3D chess to try and catch up to the driver ahead of them.
And I'm trying to have a look again just to confirm. So all of these drivers, I believe, they're all on their last set of tyres. So if we get a a late caution, then they're just going to have to deal with it and get to the end. Jesper Eriksson, who does have a free set of tyres, but he's down in 17th place. So he's going to have a long way to come back through on some fresh tyres. But on the 40-lap-old tyres, we're doing over a second off the pace. To be honest, he might be able to actually come back depending on how many laps are there. There's a couple of drivers who will have 2 sets of tyres available, but from what I can see, they are a bit further down in the pack. The likes of Uven and Shu, Auto, but they are outside of the top 10. So we're looking pretty stable up towards the front. It's just who can hold on to the tyres the most. On the previous lap, all of these drivers were within about a tenth and a half of each other, so they are doing such close times. I mean, Gunnarsson, Jeremy Gunnarsson's had this half a second gap basically the whole of this green flag run.
Yeah, and that's not a surprise here. We mentioned that once these cars get out front, you have that clean air to worry about. But also, you got to stop and figure, at this pace, does Gunnarsson catch up to somebody who is, not on the lead lap, to say the least? We've been seeing from this camera, just before Gunnarsson shows up, that it starts to shake a little bit. So that might come into play here with 139 laps being run so far, 138 in the books, as once again, Lundberg going to try for another run at Broström for that 3rd spot. But I tell you what, Broström's just too good coming into the corners. But this time, actually, I should say Eriksson closing in. That's my mistake. As Eriksson now wants to get a little racy on Lundberg. Has he saved enough equipment for the end of the race?
Wow, this could be a big turn if someone is able to keep their tyres. We're seeing the top 5 being drawn in by the cars a little bit further back. Did the top guys go off a little bit too hard? We'll have to find out. Let's first start with Robert Eriksson having a look down the inside. This could be for 4th position. He's sat there in 5th and not challenged at all in this run so far, but now he's looking to get Lundberg. Lundberg, we saw this on a previous stint. It was dropping back as the stint went on. Is this a similar sign as he drops down into 5th place? Robert Eriksson up into 4th. What a result this could be for Team Superior, with none of the results that their efforts have deserved over, really just over the course of the whole season. They're down in 14th place in the Constructors out of 15, so they're not getting the points that they would have wanted, but a P4 would be such a good way for them to end the season.
And Cam, look at the track. It has cooled off considerably with the cloud cover over the past couple of laps. So that's got to help Eriksson, especially if he decided to save his tires, as now he sets his sights on Broström there in 3rd place. Looking at the lap times real quick, he's run about 2/10 of a second faster than the 71.
And I tell you what, Marcus Hogman, Peter Helmbro, those in P6, P7, they're chasing down these top guys. They're faster than Gunnarsson at the front. They are coming. And to be honest, Hogman is going to get Lundberg, I think, in the next lap or two. It is definitely squeezing back up. It extended there for about 20 laps in the mid part of this stint. And now we're getting towards the end. 10 laps to go. It is all closing up once more. I mean, now Peter Helmbro in 7th place, Bohlin in 8th. They're within 4 seconds of the lead. A few laps ago, Hogman was barely within 4 seconds. So everyone is closing up now as we're getting to the end of this season. And I'll tell you what, Ayrton is coming for the race win here. We're now under half a second for the first time in about 20-odd laps.
So things are getting really spicy out here. Let's see with Arlitzen and Gunnarsson, who, by the way, still battling for that points title, make their way around, and how close this battle is. And that could also close in Broström as well. So we could have a battle on the track for the championship position if everybody decides to play a nice little wiggle out of Arlitzen coming off of turn number 2, and he's going to look to the inside. Gunnarsson's going to let him have that opening just a little bit and decides to shut the door on him through turn number 4. Arlitzen still stays nice and tight as both of them nose to tail coming across the line. This battle for the lead, Cam, really heating up over the past couple of corners.
Doesn't need to win the race, but wants to win the race, wants to win the championship and the race. Look how much more tire he's got through that mid-corner. He got on the gas way early around the outside, and this could be signed, sealed, and delivered for the championship. If he's going to be able to beat his championship rivals, it doesn't matter where they finish. He's going to be getting more points than them, but Gunnarsson is coming back through turns 3 and 4. Is it enough? No, the outside line's going to hold. Oh, contact between the two. The 24 goes around. He gathers it up. We stay under green flag, but he's going to drop down a whole host of positions. And this could change things as Broström takes the lead.
Let's say a new leader, Broström, and that's exactly what he wanted to happen. So this could be a championship leading move out of the 71 as Gunnarsson's going to try and close in. Ericsson also sitting there in third. What a gift for the 35 and the 71. As we take a look at a replay, we can see how close Broström really closed in. He tapped the wall just a little bit, but because Gunnarsson got off the gas, he's able to go high, wide, and handsome heading into turn one for the lead of the race. My, how the turntables.
Oh my word. And this changes things quite a lot, because now, by my maths, Linus is going to be leading the way in the championship because he's going to get 2 extra points for leading a lap as well. And, of course, gained so many points now on Eracingligan, who's now in 9th position. So I don't even want to call this across the line because it could be a couple of points either way. And it depends what points they're going to give when we look back at the stage points as well, because that was a whole big mess. So this is close. But as it stands, by my maths, Linus is leading 2 points to Gunnarsson, who, 2 points to Alex, who's down into 9th place. So Alex, he just needs to get a couple of positions. The issue is some big points, some big seconds gaps are coming ahead of him, and now he's going to have some damage to that car. This could be huge, but the 71 is looking strong with just 5 laps to go.
Yeah, he's about 1.5 seconds behind Ken Tier in the 8th spot in that number 49. But man, the clouds parted, the sun is shining on Linus Broström as we're just a handful of seconds left in what could be a championship season for the 71. Gunnarsson, though, he's not going down easy. He wants that win to possibly see if he can throw a wrench into the points championship. But Ericsson, Robert Ericsson, that is, closes in on the 35. So this could be a very tight battle for the win and the final race of the season.
And I don't even know how to call this when we get to the end, because it could all change, because there could be, penalties come the way of Broström, maybe for that restart infringement as well. You never know after causing quite a big crash. But what it's ended out as, with just over 3 laps to go, we're looking about 5 and a bit miles left of the season. Broström leads both on the track and on the point standings. Eracingligan, he needs to try and get some positions. The issue is he's over a second off Kenneth Tier, and he's got a damaged vehicle, so I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Gunnarsson, he's going to be 3rd place in the standings unless he can win this race, because there's a 5 points gap difference between 1st and 2nd, and that is his only hope of getting across the gap. But Ericsson, who's now on the podium, the first one of the season for him, but he's going for 2nd as well.
And he mentioned that possible penalty from Broström for that restart infringement. I keep forgetting about that because there's just been so much that has happened since that time as Ericsson closes in on Gunnarsson for that 2nd spot. And both those drivers tried to hold out of those race cars here in the closing laps. 3 miles left to go, and there's some lap traffic up ahead. Will that come into play for Broström? He's opened up a 4/10 of a second gap. Cam, I've got to say this, no matter how this race plays out, this has been nothing short of entertaining, as shows the one who is possibly set to go 1 lap down. But Cam, let's see what happens as 2nd place really heats up.
Yeah, we're coming to the final lap of the season. And what a season it's been. Gunnarsson is going to go wide, though. There's some lap traffic getting in the way. Rob Ericsson is going for 2nd place. Final lap time comes out, and let's see what is going to happen in towards turn number 1, 2. No, he doesn't have enough momentum. So Gunnarsson is going to be in 2nd place. But it's been the season finale by MABI, and what a finale it's been. Broström looks like he's going to get the win, and he might just have secured himself enough points because Ericsson has not been able to regain anything. Rob Ericsson is going to go to the inside. This is for 2nd place. This is going to be the best result of the season for Team Superior if they can do so. Gunnarsson to the outside is going to hold on, and Linus Broström across the line is going to win the final race of the season and the championship that comes with that. And to the line, it looks like it was just about Gunnarsson holding on to 2nd place by 0.5 of a second, and Alex Eracingligan down in 9th position. The overtake that he did not need to go for ended in a crash, and I believe has lost him the championship by a couple of points. We will wait for the results to go in the system with the drop scores and everything, but it's looking good for Linus as he's going to come to the front and do some donuts, I am sure. What a season finale, and that just shows you how these drivers fight for everything. Eracingligan didn't need it, but he wanted it.
I'll tell you what, I laughed, I cried, I was absolutely spellbound with the way that this race ended here. It was a result that we didn't expect, but Broström doing donuts here on the front straightaway for the fans at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What an absolute pass that he made for the lead. Arlidsson, you got to tip the cap to him. He did everything that he could, but yeah, it was just that late race incident where he turned on the front nose of Gunnarsson, going for that pass that he really didn't need. But again, we're waiting for, well, we got to wait for the final results as Linus Broström doing donuts, showing off for the fans.
And there's some good donuts as well. The thing is, this could change so quickly because it's only 2 points by my maths. And if anything happens, you know, with the way that they do the stage, if Linus gets a couple of points there, that could be a big factor. But yeah, wow, it is on a knife edge. But I do believe it's Linus Broström winning on the track and potentially the championship as well. Gunnarsson in second place, Ericsson is in third, Hagman, Helmbro, Bohlin your top 6, Lundberg, Kenneth Tier, Arvidsson, and the NP9. Should he have stayed in second place? Should he have stayed in second place? We'll have to get an answer to that in the interview in a few moments' time. Forsberg in 10th, and Jesper Eriksson getting the fastest lap on lap 72. Broström, Erling, Uven and Schob, the final drivers on the lead lap. Then we got Holmer, Eriksson, Schott, Auto, Kjellberg and Gantz, a lap and 2 laps down. And then the final page of the season is going to be Lars Bolka having a big crash, and also Skoglund right back towards the start of this race, bring out the first caution of the day. But we have to speak to him, the series organizer, Linus Broström. Let's bring him in and get his reaction to this race. Linus, the 71 machine, coming across the line and victorious here in Las Vegas. It is so close on the points. I can't wait to see your exact and final result when it goes in the result system. But just give us your reaction after seeing your 2 championship rivals crashing in front of you and basically gifting you the victory.
I'm in shock. I don't even know what to say. I mean, about that situation. I was just behind and I was telling Alex, don't do anything stupid. You probably have the win in your position. I don't know, but he wanted to pass because he was faster and, you know, so maybe I could pass him as well and secure second place. And then I just see them going up and up and up out of the corner, hitting the wall, and then Alex disappears and I'm catching up to Jonas and I have no idea where he's going to go. So I think I'm going to go low, but then I go high and I'm just expecting him to turn in front of me to try and do something. And he played it fair. So I got by with the overspeed, and then from there I just had to preserve my tires. But I mean... I would say after that embarrassment on the stage restart, I'm not a deserving winner of this race. Definitely not. That is probably the single most embarrassing moment of my sim racing career, being in a final race as well. But you know, it's the end result that counts. We'll see what happens there. But thankfully, the last time that happened this season, the penalty was only a warning. So I'm hoping the officials will do the right thing and judge it the same way this time.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're in for some interesting stats here. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out who is where on that stage at the moment of caution. So yeah, we should have the end results here for you guys pretty quick, pretty soon, I hope. But for now, at least, I think I'm the champion. The most important part is the Polska Logistics won our first season in the Svenska Eracingligan. So, congrats to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Elias, I'll leave you for a couple of minutes. You go figure out the result. I'll take a word with Jonas and Alex, and then we'll get back to you in a moment. But provisionally, congratulations on your second championship.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get a word from these drivers. So Jonas Gunnarsson, the number 33. What an interesting race we've had today. To be honest, it was actually really good. We had only a couple of cautions here and there. We had some long green flag runs. And to be honest, your number 33 car was looking fast out there today.
Yeah, didn't mean to hit Alex like that. The car just drove up when it was outside of me. I got really tight. Sorry to him. I feel bad for him if he don't win the championship now. But I tried everything I can to win it, so awesome. But yeah, this race, the car felt great. Mid-long run was great. It was the long run at the last 10 laps. I think I started realize I was in trouble.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was an awesome battle out there. Maybe not in terms of side by side all the time, but you had that half a second gap for so long. Was that just because you and Alex, you were sort of equal on pace, or was that just because you were managing that half a second gap?
Yeah, I think we were equal on pace. I wanted a 1 second gap, so he didn't have the draft, but I think we were equal on pace, like everyone in the top 5 the whole race. But if you were in the lead, it was easier to save tires, I believe.
And obviously here in Season 8, we went back to the shorter season like we had a few years ago. Did you prefer this, or do you like the longer season with the playoffs and having more of a challenge, let's say, more of a journey to win the championship?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think both are great.
Sitting right on the fence there. Well, anyway, your number 33 this season was very good. Unfortunately, it looks like either way it is going to be probably third position in the championship for you, but so still a strong result, and hopefully we'll see you again in January for the start of Season 9.
Yeah, not in Alcantech though, but somewhere else next season. I want to say thank you to the guys in Alcantech, racing so many years with them.
Yeah, it's been such a good partnership. So yeah, congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
And then next we will bring in the number 24 of Alex Aronson. Pole position, such a fast car in qualifying, but Joel Bohlin got you right at the start, and then you sort of went backwards a little bit. It must have been quite unnerving for you in the first stages of the race there, Alex.
Not really, to be honest, because I knew I was only really racing Linus and Jonas there at the start, and Bohlin, he's a pretty fast driver, quite aggressive. So I thought if he wants to go fast, I'll let him go fast, not let him go, and then I'll catch him later. But then obviously the caution came out on lap 20-ish, so I never got to pass him back on that first stint, but didn't really matter. And yeah, I think the race went pretty well up until 5, 6, 7, 8 to go. I don't know.
Yeah. It was, the race was going well for you. I mean, you sort of went backwards and forwards a little bit with the various cautions and strategy and whatnot, but you're always looking up towards the front. And in that final stint, it ended up with you, Linus, and Eunice in the top 4, top 3 for a long time. You could have stayed in third position and still been good championship-wise. So, I know you had the speed and you want to win the race, but what was your thought process on trying to get that win?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, right? But I mean, I knew I didn't have to pass Jonas there at the end, but I caught him at such a rate of speed, so I thought, well, I'll have a go. I'll try to pass him without risking anything. I thought I did, but obviously what happened, and there's not much more I could do about that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, what do you... so being a bit more specific, what do you think? Is there anything you could have done differently with that overtake going right up to the wall, or was that really just because you had the momentum at the time, you thought that was the place to go?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously looking at the replay and looking back at it, I could have gone closer to the wall, but in the heat of the moment and with the way the car is pushing out of the corner, I just wanted to try to avoid hitting the wall and then bouncing into him, which I did, but that also meant that he got the chance to push up into me instead.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a difficult situation there for you, but amazing season either way for you. Polski Logistics winning the Constructors, so a lot of positives to take from that. So it does look like Linus has gone through and confirmed that unfortunately by 2 points you've missed out on the championship, but either way, congratulations for your season, and we'll see you in Season 9.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we've had a really good season as a team. We won the team championship. We had 4 different winners from the team, which is great, obviously. Especially Kenneth getting his first win of his SCL career. And I just want to give a huge thank you to you guys for putting on such awesome broadcast every week. And also thank you to the organizers, Linus and Björn. And also thank you to our sponsors, MABI, and Bohlins for supporting us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you guys in this championship. And yeah, as I say, we'll see you next time. Well done.
Thank you.
So let's bring back in Linus after he's gone through the results, just to be sure. And Linus, as we can see on the screen, by 2 points in the end, you are a 2-time SEL champion. What are your initial thoughts of that?
Provisionally, because I might still get a penalty for that restart, but if we go back to what happened in Iowa, it should be a simple warning, but we shall see. But otherwise, yes, I am the champion for the second time. It feels amazing. I am so bummed out for Alex. He had a great race, a great strategy, was going to win, still went for the race win at the end, being the racer that we all are. We always want to win. But yeah, I don't know, it feels amazing. And Teams Championship as well, finishing 1-2. So yeah. It's a nice way to cap off the year. Started the year being Swedish champion in Rallycross, and now Svenska Eracingligan champion here. Can't really ask for a much better year.
It's been a great year for you in 2025, so you can take a little break now for a few weeks before we get back going in January. So yes, let's bring up on the screen. That's a good one, good timing. So as you see, 15th of January on the top right, we go Nashville for the oval. We're now in the Class B, so basically the Xfinity O'Reilly's car that we had last season. And then also on the 22nd of January, we start the GT3 series, working all our way through to about May of 2026. So as you can see there, loads of racing still here for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan and all to be covered here on RaceSpotTV as well. Can't wait for that. But enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your New Year, everybody, and we'll be back racing in just 4 weeks' time to start another season and find another champion. But this time around, it was provisionally Linus. We'll have to find out when the stewards get out there on the track. But either way, deserving champions all round. It's been myself, Cam Roger, Jeremy Scott, alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. And until next time in January, we wish you a very warm goodbye.